We have to take risks if we want to be successful. Now I'll say that again. We have to take risks. We have to throw good balls, because half the time that I throw good balls, the batters swing. So half of the bats, I'm already gonna be a better pitcher. And then the others, say they don't swing, then I kind of know what kind of type of batter they are. I'm like, how would they not swing at that? Okay, she's gonna be a little bit more conservative, so I have to be a little bit more conservative where I start my pitches. Getting ahead does not mean just throw a strike. We have to throw a great strike or a great ball. Hi, welcome to the Weekly Dose. My name is Jamie Southern, and I kind of wanted to introduce myself again now that we have new followers and subscribers. I was a 4-time All-American pitcher and player at Fresno State. 3 of those first team. My sophomore year I was second team. And then I played with the USA Elite team. And after the 2004 Olympics, I got called up to the national team for 3 summers until I had a little injury that I couldn't try out for the Olympic team. I played in the Pro League for 4 summers, and I loved pitching. I was really successful at it, and that's why we created this channel, was to teach pitchers how to be a pitcher, the art of it. We know we go to lessons and work on mechanics and spins and new pitches, but who really helps with the game-like situations? We don't have time to talk in our lessons about all that. And so that's why we created this, was there's more to just being able to throw pitches. There's more to just locations. There's more to just mechanics. Let us know if you have any topics that you want us to talk about or want me to talk about. You can head on over to the Weekly Dose Facebook page, and that's where we give out the workouts of the week, and you can leave a message and we will get back to you. I will get back to you. I am free this summer and I'm here to be of help. And so a little topic or a little question, I will take the time to do that. That's just what I do. I love it. I want to get pitchers better. I'm not out there on the weekends. My daughters are 9 and 7. Like, we haven't got into that. So some of it I remember, but there might be situations that I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about this. So bring it to my attention if you guys are having trouble or your daughter's struggling with something. Like, I would love to help. This month we are talking about how to get batters out, and we're going to continue that. We've talked about slappers and bunters. We've talked about how do I know what a great pitch is. Everybody says you have to have 3 great pitches. Well, what does that mean? How do I quantify, or how do I judge my pitches? So that was last week's, and the workout of the week was something that you can really kind of like chart and keep track. And then a lot of the times, like, even my mom was like, well, but if they don't call pitches, then how does that help them? You give that to your coach who calls pitches, and you say, this pitch gets hit the most. I'm working on it. These pitches give me foul balls. These pitches give me swings and misses. I really want to use this to get me ahead and to strike out pitches. I want this to give me strikes or pop-ups. So it kind of gives the pitch caller some direction, and it allows you to know what to shake off. If it's a full count and you're like, this pitch gets hit hard, I want to throw a different pitch that I know can give me a fly ball or a ground ball. So it kind of helps. Now this week we are going to talk about great pitchers who can get batters out, have to get ahead. They have to get ahead of the count. Doesn't matter what level you are. Pitchers who are in control of the at-bat are more likely to be successful than when you get behind. Not saying we can't come from behind. We practice that. It's okay to be 3-0. It's not the end of the world. But it's going to be easier for me if I can get ahead, and then I can control the at-bat. I can control the game by trying to get them to do what I want them to do. So if we have bases loaded and I need them to ground out to the first baseman or something, and I'm gonna throw my curveball, or we can control that. We have runners at first and second, and I want them to ground ball to third so she can tag her base and get a double play at first. I'm gonna try to throw inside pitches. Situations, that's what we're talking about. How to get batters to do what we want them to do. So we gotta get ahead. Now, getting ahead is different at different levels. So if you are just beginning, you're 10 and under, and this is your first real summer, Getting ahead means throwing the ball a little bit more on the plate on the corners. If you have been pitching for a year and you can spot your ball better, then getting ahead means getting on the corners a little bit. At the older levels, getting ahead means we are starting that pitch on the corner and still letting it break off or break up into the zone or down into the zone, but we have got to engage the batter. So if I'm getting ahead, and I'll do two different kind of pitchers to give you guys. The beginners, we know you're throwing fastballs, you're gonna throw them a little bit more on the corners, on the plates, because the batters at 10 and under are still great batters, but you can still jam them. They're not super great at identifying how to swing differently inside or outside. So you can be successful with putting it on the plate, hoping that the umpire can help you if they don't swing. Now, if I am a screwball, curveball mainly pitcher, I'm throwing I call it like that gray area. The gray area to me means it could go either way. So the umpire could give it to me, but if he doesn't, I'm like, okay, this is a little conservative umpire, but it's not a for certain called strike. I'm not throwing my ball, my screwball or my curveball, starting it down the middle and letting it break to the corner, because that ball breaks on the same plane as the bat goes through the hitting zone, the strike zone. And so no matter, even if I start it and it breaks a foot, they're still gonna make contact with it because it's over the plate. Remember, batters can hit strikes. That's what they practice hitting. They practice every week. Hitting lessons is hitting strikes. So we have to make sure that we are engaging them to say, "Ooh, this looks like a strike," and then it goes off into a ball. So my curve and my screw, I will start them on the corners, and then they break off into the gray area where if they swing, it's not gonna be good contact if it's not a foul ball or a swing and a miss. But to get a first pitch strike, I am not going to throw that ball on the plate just because I need to throw it on the plate. Well, I'm trying to get a strike. Okay, but it can't be a big strike where the batter knows that it's hittable and they're successful with it. We have to be smart. So if I'm a rise ball, drop ball pitcher and they call a drop for the first pitch, I'm gonna throw it at their knees and I'm going to let it spin down into a ball. Like, it's a great pitch. If I can throw it higher, great. Some pitchers can't. So if you can throw it higher into the strike zone and it kind of still breaks to the bottom of the strike zone, my gosh, that's a great pitch. You're gonna get them to swing almost every time, and even if they don't, it's a called strike. So if you can't, and you're still kind of working your way up the zone with a drop ball, then you still have to throw it to the knees where they think, okay, this is a strike, and then it spins down into a ball. That's okay. That's a great pitch. That's that gray area where the umpire has to decide, is it a ball or a strike? So we have to take risks if we want to be successful. Now I'll say that again. We have to take risks. We have to throw good balls, because half the time that I throw good balls, the batters swing. So half of the bats, I'm already gonna be a better pitcher. And then the others, say they don't swing, then I kind of know what kind of type of batter they are. I'm like, how would they not swing at that? Okay, she's gonna be a little bit more conservative, so I have to be a little bit more conservative where I start my pitches. So getting ahead does not mean just throw a strike. We have to throw a great strike or a great ball. My dad would always say, Jamie, you've got to make that umpire be like, oh man, they're throwing Jamie. Ugh. If you make it too easy for the umpires, if it's a ball, or it's a strike, it's on the plate, then it's easy for them. You want the umpires to be like, every pitch could go either way. Make them decide. Make them work harder, because then the batters have to decide, is this a ball or a strike? And they're going to swing more. I know that I had a game in college where I was just getting hit more. Like, they were just making contact. You know, usually I averaged I think 7-10 strikeouts a game. And this one, I was off a little. And after the game, my dad was like, Jamie, you're throwing too many strikes. I'm like, what? Oh, I'm making it too easy for the batters. So if you get hit, Are you throwing too many strikes? Doesn't that sound weird? Like, but that's kind of what I'm supposed to do. Growing up, everybody's like, come on, throw strikes, throw strikes. But then you pass that level of just throwing strikes and you have to throw good balls. You got to throw tempting pitches that engage the batter and then they hit your spot. So we have to get ahead, and that's what that looks like. Gray area. Gray area means we started on the corner. If the umpire is helping you that game and they have a bigger zone or the batters are more aggressive, then we have to start the ball one ball off. Start the ball, a ball off the plate, and then let it break. Because if the umpire is helping you, they're going to have to swing at it. So know what that looks like for you, for an umpire that is tighter, for a batter that's disciplined, for a batter that is more aggressive, for the situation in the game when they're pressing because it's their last ups and they're down 4 runs. They have to swing. Know the situation, but we have to get ahead, because then when we get ahead, we are in a position to then go for the strikeouts. We're in a position to get them to swing at our pitch, at our great ball. They're going to have to swing because it's so close. And what is their coach saying down there? Come on, protect. Anything close. I'm like, thank you for saying that. Swing at anything close. That means like swing at balls. Anything close, if it's a good ball, that's their coach told them to swing. So we do not want to throw waste pitches. Waste pitches, I hate that word. We don't waste a pitch. Every pitch has to engage the batter for some type of reason, even for a setup. So we are going to work on getting ahead this week because it is very important. In our workout of the week, we're going to be working on the first 2-3 pitches. The first 2-3 pitches of every at bat. I want you to win it. And then you figure out after 2 pitches, depending on where you're at, you can try with 2, and we'll have you try with 3 as well. So first 2 pitch, I throw a curveball, it's a strike. Second pitch, I throw a rise ball. It's a ball, but it's an engaging. It was a good pitch. She just didn't swing. That's a great start. 1-1, and you had 2 engaging pitches, and 1 was a strike. A 1-1 count is great. It's a great count to be in. You could do 3 pitch starts, and a 3 pitch would say, okay, so I did a curveball, and then I did a rise ball, and I'm a 1-1, and so what's my next pitch? I'm going to do a changeup. When I get a foul ball, okay, great. I'm 1-2. This is a great situation. I still have 2 pitches that I can try to go for the kill until I get a full count, where then I'm like, oh man, I got to go back to that gray area. A full count doesn't mean you just throw a strike again. Maybe at the beginning level, if you're learning pitching, yes, you throw your strike, because we don't want a ton of walks. We want to force them to swing. But if you have been pitching and you're 12 and under, 14, 16, 18, like, you have got to use that full count to throw a great pitch. Nobody should be getting upset with a walk if you throw a pitch that is so good and it's a ball. You're like to the batter, how did you not swing at that? Umpire, how did you not give me that strikeout? That's a good walk. That's okay. You know, I had a lot of pitchers come to me and their parents, and the first thing that parents would tell me at their lessons was, oh, she only had 1 walk all tournament. I'm like, well, she's throwing too many strikes. Walks are not bad if you are engaging them and they're great pitches. Walks are bad if we're out of control. If we can't throw the ball where we want it to. We had a rough weekend. We had a lot of walks because we were out of control. That's different than, hey, you know, you have 2-3 walks a game. It's not great. We're giving them free, but are you throwing good pitches? Would you rather have a walk and throw a great pitch? Or would you rather give them a double because, well, I didn't want a walker? Be smart. Take some risks, because you could get a crap hit on the end of their bat. They could ground out. They could swing and miss. They could foul tip it. There are so many things that you can do with that great ball. Or you can just throw a strike and they hit it hard. They could line out. There's lots of things that can happen. But we got to take the risk to say, I want to go for the strikeout. I want to get her. And we practice that with our locations in practice. We have to build that consistency. You have to hold yourself accountable to say, I'm tired, I've had a long day, I had volleyball practice, and now I'm pitching, and I'm just hungry, and I have homework. I get it. But do you want to be great in those tough situations? Then you got to hold yourself accountable. You got to do the hard workouts. I got to put this ball where I want it to go 3 straight times in a row, because then I know in a pressure situation I can do it. That's the difference of being great versus, I got to go pitch because my dad told me I have to go pitch. Trust me, I've had those days. I have had those days where my dad's like, let's go. And I'm like cursing in my head, like, I don't want to do this. I'm so tired. But it made me great because I pushed through it mentally. So we're going to get ahead. We're going to work on getting ahead this week. We're going to work on getting ahead in our tournaments. And we're going to get ahead with some risky pitches, with some gray area pitches. Okay? And then we're going to be in a position to then go for the strikeout, go for the kill, go for the crap hit. I call them crap hits because that's what my mom always used to call. In high school, I threw from 40 feet. Can you believe that? I was throwing mid-60s at 40 feet, but I didn't have enough room for my balls to move because they got there so quickly. So in high school, I just got a lot of crap hits. I got a lot of jam, where I jammed them or the end of their bat on the curveball. And it wasn't until I got to college when I moved back to 43 feet that I was like getting strikeouts. And I'm like, who am I? So that's where the term crap hits come from, is my mom. After the game, she's like, well, you had a ton of crap hits. So we know the crap hits, the little duds. You get those when you're risky. You get those when you expand the zone. So we're going to get ahead and we're going to practice that. And then we're going to get risky and we're going to expand the zone and we're going to get strikeouts, crap hits, easy ground balls for our defense. It's another way that we can use our skills and our control to get ahead of the batters to be successful. How to get batters out? Well, you got to start with the first 2 pitches. You got to start with the first 3 pitches. So work on it this week. Let me know if you guys have any other questions or if something helps you. We've had a couple people reach out to say, thank you so much. This helped my daughter in this way. And it really kind of like keeps my little sail going. It's hard to do these videos, to commit to weekly. I've got 3 kids and we've got some changes in our life. I love doing it, but I love your feedback because it kind of just like shows me that you guys really are loving the videos and they're being useful, and it just helps me, it helps. So let me know if you need anything or how these videos are working for you, and we will keep them coming.